Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. Join me here today on what's been quite a lovely afternoon actually. Lots of jobs got done, and mostly weeding and cutting the grass, to be honest, and you can hear that it's not been its usual sort of tranquil hideaway this afternoon, because as you can probably hear, 2 or 3 other people have been cutting grass or strimming like hedges and all types of stuff, so yeah, not quite as tranquil as normal, so apologies for that. I was hoping they'd stop before I got to do this video, but they haven't, so anyway. But while that's all very interesting, I'm sure you didn't tune in to hear me complaining about what my neighbours are doing here. Of course you tuned in to hear about the latest allotment dram. And what is it, I hear you ask? Well, I bought quite a long time favourite of ours, and from a company that we really like as well, and it's the Peat Monster from Compass Box. So this is, as the name suggests, their peaty smoky offering. It was first released actually very early on in their sort of days. They were founded in 2000 by a gentleman called John Glazer, who came out of I think he worked for Diageo before, and basically decided to set up his own whiskey company to do blending and bottling, so just be a bit more creative maybe. So yeah, this was first released in 2003, so approaching its 20-year anniversary, and it was originally called the Monster because of its big sort of powerful sort of expressive nature. But what it actually is, I mean, it's turned out to actually be the biggest seller of all Compass Box whiskies to date, so it sits in the core range still almost 20 years later. But what it is, it's a mix of different ages, predominantly Islay whiskies, and these centre around Kalila and Lafroig in particular. And then there's a small pocket of Highland malts in there as well, which were blended together and then blended into the main blend itself. So yeah, as I say, centres around Kalila and Islay and Lafroig from Islay. But what Compass Box are always also pretty good at is the fact that they actually show you the proportions. So if you go to their website and you look up the Peat Monster, you can actually see the proportions of what's coming, not just from each distillery, but from different cask types within that distillery. So we really like that. It's this whole transparency thing. Shows you what you're getting in the bottle. And this 46%, let's say, is blended malt, so just single malts, and non-chill filtered and natural colour as well. So should cost you around 48, 49, 50 pounds, depends where you shop. But I think really without further ado, we should probably have a little taste of it. So just pop the glass down there, and particularly if you like peaty whiskey, it's already like leaping out of the glass. Very pale in colour, so pale. You'd think it was quite a delicate whiskey, wouldn't you? It's very pale, almost lemony yellow sort of colour. But let's have a smell. It's certainly not a very delicate whiskey. Got obviously the smoke. It's quite ashy, it's earthy, medicinal, almost like the that like coal tar soap, quite old school soap. I remember my dear old gran, she used to have that. It always smells like that. It takes me right back to that actually. And maybe a little bit of we call it creosote in the UK, but it's the stuff that you paint on a fence to protect the wood of the fence. So yeah, it has that really expressive. There's also a bit of green fruit in there, like orchard fruits, apple and pear. A bit of golden syrup as well. So let's have a taste. and that's pretty full on. It has smoke rises first, big, it's like sticking your head in a bonfire as it's like, you know, the smoke is coming up. So you've got woody, ashy, you've got maybe even a bit, you know, when the fire dies down, those embers. But you've also got a bit of like mossiness, like damp moss or seaweed, and then this medicinal, this coal tar soap, maybe a touch, a little drip of iodine as well. And then underneath, once this kind of starts to dissipate a little bit, you get a lovely cereal note. So like a really good like oat cookie, like, or an oat biscuit, you know, like you have with cheese sometime. And yeah, really kind of quite gripping, sort of malty oatiness. Very nice. Let's have another taste, see if we can kind of battle past those notes and get something else. Just as we do that, I don't know if you can hear, there's a whole group of like blue-tit chicks that have just fledged. I think they came out of the nesting box that I've put up there. There's been some in there for the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and now the guys stopped doing the strimming. Hopefully you can hear them. They're all in the hedge here, like twittering about. Anyway, I digress. Smoke, oaty biscuits, cereals, what else have we got? Sorry about that. If you watch these videos enough times, you'll see that I get distracted by things, but I've just noticed them all kind of flitting about in the hedgerow over there. Anyway, so smoke, malty cereals, what else have we got? Those green orchard fruits are really coming through the longer this sits on your taste buds. So apple, pear, and crisp. You know, crisp, not cooked or dried, but crisp, juicy green apple and pear. You've got some sweetness, vanilla. There's quite a lot of vanilla. Pretty much all of this, from if I remember back to when I looked at the proportions of what was here, I think it's mostly American oak and mostly bourbon casks. So that's not surprising that you get lots of vanilla, and also a lovely pinch of spice as well. Like these woody sort of baking spices, cinnamon, nutmeg. It's a bit of like allspice, a bit of white pepper as well. So yeah, and the sweetness is added to by, it's like a honey, possibly even like golden syrup. It's a bit heavier than honey, but yeah, absolutely lovely. So I think now a plane's coming over, so yeah, we're really not having the most peaceful afternoon here. Birds, we've got the people streaming, we've got the aeroplanes, someone hammering over sort of the other side of the allotment there. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this allotment dram. We'll leave you to get on to do whatever you were doing before you stumbled across this video. So from myself and the Peat Monster from Compass Box, we will bid you farewell, and we'll hopefully see you for another allotment dram very soon. Cheers. Cheers.